Give us the intro.
Welcome back to the scent bubble, and today, what fragrance are we going to?
Well, we're not going to talk about a fragrance today, Miles. Today, I wanted to talk to everybody about the fact that yesterday we went to Neiman Marcus. And what's different about Neiman's from everywhere else is that this is a fragrance store that you go into when you want to smell all the expensive stuff you look about. You look online and find the stuff you hear about online, all the people talking about when it comes to niche. You could still get some designer stuff, but for the Neiman's that I went to, it was pretty much all niche. You walk in there and there were companies such as Tom Ford, Chanel, Mind Games, Bond Number 9, Amouage, Creed, Maison Francis Kurkdjian, Frederick Malle. I mean, Parfums de Marly. They had every single niche house that you could think of, and all the bottles started at like $200 and went up in the thousands. When you walk up to these tables, nothing's behind the counter. Every fragrance from their entire collection is out on display on the table, and they have test strips galore, and 100 people are going to ask you if you need help, and there's going to be a representative from each company. When you're at the Chanel table, it's set up like a swap meet. There's a Chanel representative, there's a bodyguard, there's security everywhere because there's big money on the table. And it's just an incredible experience. That's why I'm filming this from the phone, because I wanted to just chat with you guys. This is a little bit of different content, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to make this video to let you guys know kind of what you're in for. If you've never been in a Neiman Marcus, you absolutely need to do it, because there's no other way that you're going to be able to sample such expensive fragrances, especially not all at once, without ordering them online and paying extra money. A lot of times, because there's so much big money being spent here, they have samples galore. So if you try a fragrance and you like it, let's say it's what's the Creed Aventus even. You know, I tried Absolute Aventus. If I liked it and I say, hey, can I take that home and maybe smell that? You know what I mean? Spend some time with it to see if I like it. Oh yeah, sure. They pull out these samples. I'll give you an example. I was at the Bond Number 9 table and I took home a lot of samples. And so they just had these on tap. These little 2-3 ml samples of Bond Number 9 fragrances. And again, mind you guys, Tom Ford, everything from Tom Ford was on the table. Creed, everything was on the table from Creed. These are not just a couple of examples. Literally every fragrance from the entire line. Bond Number 9 was in like a triangular shape, just flowered along the table. It was crazy. When I went to the MFK table, that guy was giving my son samples of everything that he was giving me, and he was hitting the test strips with 5 to 6 sprays a piece. I mean, it was insane. I tried over 100 fragrances, without question. Took home a few samples, even got some stuff for my wife, picked up that Bond Number 9 New York Flowers for her, since she's into kind of soft floral stuff. To me, that's a better fragrance than something like a YSL Libre, and she loved it. But yeah, if you ever get the opportunity, it could be very intimidating walking into a store like this. This is nothing like Sephora, Ulta Beauty, anything like that. It is rich people everywhere, big bottles everywhere, everyone asking you if you need help, asking you questions. You got to have a lot of confidence going into a place like that. If you're a shy individual, you kind of got to pep talk yourself into how to walk into a place like this. And that's why I made this video, because even though it's a great opportunity to try a bunch of amazing fragrances, it could definitely be intimidating. So I would definitely say that before you walk into a Neiman's, look into all the niche that people are recommending and even that you've had your eye on, and just kind of have somewhat of a game plan of like, oh, I've always wanted to try Oud Mineral from Tom Ford. Oh, I've always wanted to try Millésime Imperial from Creed. Oh, I've always wanted to try MFK Grand Soir. And just have a couple of ideas of fragrances that you kind of have your eye on. That way, when you walk into a place like this, you kind of have a certain pace to you as far as things that are familiar to you that you might start with and work your way around from there. And that way, if you have a game plan, it has room for your exploration to be able to go check out other stuff, but you're not standing around in there kind of just looking around, looking like you're broke, not knowing, looking like your first time you've ever been in there, etc. You want to have a confidence to you, because the more confident and it looks like you've been in there every day, the more people are going to treat you well in terms of like being willing to give you samples, coming up to you and sharing a lot of stuff and not just feeling like you're there to snoop around. There's plenty of rich people that go into these places all day long, try on 100 fragrances and don't buy a single thing. But again, just so you feel comfortable navigating a space like this, I just kind of wanted to share my experience. You know, have some fragrances in mind that you've always wanted to have. Don't go in there dressed bummy, you know what I'm saying? At bare minimum, jeans and a collared tee. You know, you don't got to go in there suited up, but you definitely don't want to go in there looking musty, you know what I'm saying? Wear some more upscale wear, you know, look your best. And just walk in there with a sense of, you know, oh, I'm looking for the Creed section. Oh, whatever. Or at least when you're looking, it doesn't look like you're just free browsing everywhere. You kind of have some direction about you and you're looking for the Creed section or you're looking for the PDM, you know, and then just go in there with confidence and don't be afraid to literally walk up to the PDM thing. And maybe you might start with Carlisle, but don't be afraid to be that guy that sprays all of them if you absolutely want to. Again, it's about having a sense of confidence, a sense of pace about you. And if you've never been in here, it will be overwhelming because in your mind, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm smelling all of this expensive stuff. Every spray I do is like $20 worth of spray that I'm wasting. They also write down the names of fragrances that you like. So say you like Carlisle, for instance, have them write Carlisle down on the test strip so you could take it home and then even ask further, hey, do you got any samples of Carlisle I can kind of sit with and see how I'm really interested in that one? And you can go home with a ton of samples. You know what I'm saying? It's really dope. It's a great experience, and I highly encourage you guys that are into fragrance to just get a sense of all of the greatest DNAs that are available out there. And that way, when you're smelling clones, inspirations, and even other fragrances that are designer or niche that are imitating others, you have a sense of what quality looks like, and you have a bit to your palate that's not just, you know, only sweet fragrances, but you have a good sense of florals, herbals, resins, different things like that. You're going to get a huge variety pack downloaded instantly just from that one visit. I learned a lot about fragrances in my experience going there, and I highly recommend you guys check out a Neiman Marcus in your area. It's totally worth it. Let me see. Are there any other final thoughts about navigating this? Oh, don't be intimidated to think that every counter you're going to go to is going to have somebody there. Typically, all of these reps, you know, again, the Tom Ford guy works for Tom Ford. The Amouage guy is an Amouage rep. The Creed person is an actual Creed rep that just happens to work in Neiman's. But there are sections, because they move around and rotate so often, where, you know, there, for instance, when I first rolled up to the Bond number 9 section, there was no one there. So I could just try everything out. So don't be intimidated to think you have to talk with somebody to be able to try fragrances. Even if someone's there, you can just tell them you're not browsing for anything in particular, and then just start trying stuff yourself. But there are some booths where some people kind of try to like, for instance, when I went to the Creed booth, the lady, rather than letting me spray test strips, was giving me one-day-old test strips that people had previously smelled rather than loading up a new test strip. She's kind of hoarding the fragrances, making sure nobody was spraying them. And that was cool. As long as I could try the fragrances, it was cool. And, you know, if I really liked something, I said, hey, I've really got my eyes on Royal Oud. Can I get a fresh spray of that? I want to see the projection. Yeah, she was more than happy to load up a strip and give it to me. So there are some sections, you know, when I went to the Chanel section, the person had left, so I was able to try a bunch of stuff on my own. So there will be opportunities in some of the booths where no one will be there. Somebody might approach you, but no one will be over there, and you could totally just start spraying stuff. Because again, everything's out on the table. Even when someone's assisting you, they're just grabbing a fragrance that's right in front of you. You could do a little bit of them recommending something. That's another thing that I want to close with, is that if you like a fragrance, like, hey, I really love the kind of apple pie vibe of Carlisle. Is there anything else in this realm over here? Or I like sweet fragrances. Or you know what? I don't like overly sweet fragrances. I like super masculine fragrances. What in this line leans masculine? When I went up to Bond number 9, I said, look, my wife likes YSL Libre stuff, really soft, florals, projects decently, but not super loud, not super sugary sweet. She brought me through a bunch of different fragrances, and we ended up with Bond Number 9's New York Flowers, which was a dead ringer for me. I thought it was a great fragrance. We took it home. So yeah, guys, definitely ask questions, have somewhat of a game plan, maybe even watch a YouTube video about a Neiman Marcus so that you can see kind of what they look like before you step in one. Because if you've only been to Sephora or Ulta Beauty or a Perfume Mania or one of these little kind of Middle Eastern shops you catch in the mall, you will be totally floored. You won't even be able to contain yourself walking into a Neiman Marcus. And you want to be both respectful, intentional, and still be able to explore fragrances, because that's why they're out. They're trying to showcase so that people buy the fragrances. So just get as much information as possible before you step foot in one, and it'll immensely guide your flow when you go in there, of just feeling comfortable trying and moving from booth to booth. It'll also get you comfortable talking with reps that look a certain way and act a certain way, to feel confident trying stuff, asking questions, getting samples, and to just have a pace about you that looks like normal customer etiquette. You know what I'm saying? So again, I had a great time in there. Man, so many videos got made. I came home and made 30 videos immediately because I brought home so many test strips and had so many intimate wearing experiences that I wanted to confirm a lot of the conversations we have about clones and inspirations. But I also wanted to refresh my nose because it's not the first time I've been in a Neiman's. I wanted to refresh my nose with stuff that I've smelled before, just to see, to reassure myself when I talk about the closeness between different fragrances, that I know what I'm talking about. And I think that's important. So definitely, guys, get into a Neiman Marcus if you can. I'm not sure what other stores are even on the same level as a Neiman's. But if you find a Neiman's, you'll probably find some other designer stores like the ones I went to. As soon as you walk out of the Neiman's, you got Chanel, you got Breitling, you got Hublot, you have Tom Ford, you have all the designer stores that sell the clothes and the fashion and the accessories all lined up along it in the shopping mall that I was at. So yeah, it was just a really cool experience. It was inspirational. It was fun. I brought my son with me. He got to try a bunch of fragrances as well. And I highly recommend it. I hope this was helpful for you. If you've never been into a Neiman's before, get your butt in there. It's awesome. And it's probably the only place you're going to get to smell tons of niche at once, and even bring some home for free without having to pay $3 to $25 for different samples that are niche. And if you've already been there, let me know what your experience has been in there. Have you experienced some of the same thing as me? Was your Neiman's popping just as crazy as mine was? Because any fragrance I thought of was available to me. I don't even know of any house that was there that I expected to be there that wasn't. So let me know, sound off in the comments, and I hope this was resourceful for you to kind of get the most bang for your buck when you walk inside of a Neiman Marcus. This is the Scent Bubble. Hey, you want to give me a sign out?
Scent Bubble signing out.
Be blessed, guys. Peace.